Hello, I'm Michael Kane, and I would like to tell the story of my maternal great-grandparents and their journey from Ireland. Timothy Sugrues was born in 1882 in Gortally, County Kerry, to John and Joanna Sugrues. He had 4 brothers and 2 sisters. Julia Gavin was born in 1885 to Michael and Catherine in Mount Ballou, County Galway. She grew up in nearby Rabaun, Castle Blakeney. She had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. 2 of her sisters also came to America. Anna Keane was born in 1896 in Fedamore, County Limerick. To Mary and John, she had 4 sisters and a brother. All 4 sisters came to America. Michael Maroney was born in 1883 in Menagee, County Limerick. His parents and siblings are unknown. Each of them set sail from the port city of Cove, then called Queenstown, to start new lives in America. With a sense of fear, uncertainty, and excitement, they made the 3,000-mile journey to New York, with Lady Liberty being the first sight they saw. Then they proceeded to dock in Ellis Island, where millions of other immigrants from all corners of the earth have also started their American journey. Julia Gavin came to America in 1904 aboard the RMS Cedric. She found work as a live-in maid in a house in Bed-Stuy. Timothy Sugrues arrived in 1906 aboard the RMS Majestic. He found work as a longshoreman. Michael Maroney arrived in 1906 aboard the RMS Lucania. He found work as a longshoreman and lived in the Park Slope area. Anna Keane came over in about 1918 aboard the RMS Coronia as part of an arranged marriage deal between herself and Michael Maroney. Julia Gavin and Timothy Sugrues married in 1916. The couple had a daughter named Catherine in 1917 who died at 2 weeks old. They had a son in 1918 who was stillborn. Finally, they had a son named James in 1919, followed by Timothy in 1922 and Eileen in 1925. The Sugrues originally lived at 279 Classen Avenue, but moved to 1256 Park Place shortly after. They worshipped at St. Matthew's Church on Eastern Parkway. Anna and Michael married in 1918. They had a son, William, in 1922, and a daughter, Mary, in 1923. They settled in the Gowanus area on LeQueer Street, but they moved around from various residences across the neighborhood. They worshipped at St. Mary Star of the Sea Church. The Great Depression saw economic struggle for millions of Americans to various extents. The Sugrues and Maroney children grew up during these times. Timothy Sugrues found employment driving a horse-powered truck that was picking up freshly imported goods from the docks.
My mother's father was a horse-drawn truck driver, in other words, a teamster. I know he lost half of his teeth he had a bridge on the whole side of his mouth because a horse hauled off and kicked him in the mouth.
The Maroneys welcomed 2 more additions in the 30s. Son John, aka Jack, in 1930, and daughter Beatrice in 1938. Due to economic hardships, they could not always afford the rent, and so were always on the move. Bill graduated from John Jay High School in 1940. and Eileen graduated from St. Joseph's High School in 1943.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft, but then his number came up.
That
and he
was,
the draft.
what I remember, what I could see. He was a communications technician. He was a radio man in the Army in Panama. And towards the end of the war, he was also a DI for Puerto Rican troops. When my father got out of service, I remember my mother had a letter. He was offered to be a firearms instructor by the FBI down in Quantico, Virginia. But the story goes, according to my mother, he never wanted to touch a gun again. I believe he was in Bougainville or New Guinea prior to his time in Panama, but that I never could confirm. But he never wanted to carry a gun again. He didn't want to run into burning buildings just like his uncle, like his brother Jack. So he became a New York City sanitation man.
In 1948, Mary married Joe Carroll. They had 11 children together: Joe Jr., Maura, Geraldine, Meg, Regina, Sheila, Barbara, Michael, Kevin, Martin, better known as Bucko, and Colleen. In the late 40s, James married Angie Scarano, the daughter of 2 Italian immigrants. Together, they had Joanne, Timothy, Katie, James, Dominic, Robert, and Angela. In 1951, Timothy married Irene O'Brien from Hollis, Queens. They had Michael, Gerard, Irene, Tim Joseph, and Mary Agnes. Sometime in the early 50s, Bill and Eileen met at a Knights of Columbus dance in Park Slope. They were married on the 1st of May, 1954 at St. Matthew's Church. They soon disembarked for their honeymoon in Ireland aboard the RMS Mauritania.
May 15th, 1954. Dear Mom, we have finally arrived in Ireland. Wednesday night, we were so excited we didn't go to bed until 12:30 and were up and dressed by 3:15 a.m. so that we could see the shores of Ireland when we docked. The dawn came up about 4:30 and you could just barely see the hills. This is really a beautiful country, and it's a shame so many have had to leave it. The hills and valleys are lovely. Bill is yelling at me because he wants to go to sleep. Will write soon. Regards to all. Love, Eileen.
Dear Eileen, your letter received Monday. Glad to hear you had a pleasant trip and arrived safe in the old sod. By now you see what it looks like. Aren't you glad it wasn't to Canada you went? Many thanks for your Mother's Day gift from both of you. And the dress was so stunning, I went back and changed it. The Pope's blessing had to be sent away. They don't frame pictures like that in Utica Avenue. It will take a week or 10 days. Remember me to my sister and brothers, and best wishes to you and Bill from all of us. With love and kisses from Mother.
In 1955, Eileen gave birth to William Jr. She subsequently gave birth to Julia, my mother, Kevin, and Tommy. Jack married Rose Casca, and they had 2 sons, Michael and Bob, and a daughter, Karen. Beatrice married Richard Thompson. They had 2 daughters, Cynthia and Donna.
The story goes, when I was in grammar school, I went to Little Flower Grammar School in Brooklyn because we couldn't spell St. Teresa of Lisieux. And one of the state books we were given was The Life and Times of Winston Churchill, about the 6th or 7th grade. And I remember coming home, and my grandfather on my mother's side, Tim Sugrues, who was living at the house at the time, took one look at the book, and it was a thick paperback book. So So it was thick and short. But this man took the book in two hands, ripped it in half, threw it in the garbage, and said, "That man's name will never be mentioned in the house where I am." I was scared to death because that was a state book, and the nuns would kill you. But that's when you learn the story that Winston Churchill was the architect of Gallipoli, which killed so many Australians and New Zealanders. He was also the person who found and thought it was a great idea to take unemployed ruffian ex-servicemen or mentally deranged ex-servicemen and make them black and tans and send them to Ireland to keep the peace.